So today we're going to talk about this Honda Acty. Such a beautiful day. We had snow yesterday, so you can see there's a little bit of remnants of snow. But I'm going to throw the plate on it. I got my trusty pointer now that I'm going to try and use for the videos to show you things, and we'll go from there. But first, let's do a cold start. Hasn't been started up since I drove it from Massachusetts to here, so same thing as Project Acty. Literally, boom, comes right on. We're in it now. I'll point out everything in the interior as soon as we get to my normal location, but let's go there now. In this video, I don't think I'll give you a driving portion because the other day I was driving it home and I drove it about like 3.5 to 4 hours. So if that's gonna give you a driving portion, wow, that's a big bump. If that's gonna give you a driving portion of any vehicle, I think that 3-hour road trip would have been it. So you can see from there. So if you haven't watched that video, just go watch it. I'll see if I can link it below, but you can catch that one from yesterday's video. All right, so here we have it. Let's talk about this thing because it's pretty cool. What we have here is a 1994 Honda Acty Town. Now you may be wondering, Mendy, what is the difference between the Honda Acty Town and the Honda Actys or the Honda Actys XC? Well, so to put it into simple terms, most Honda Actys will come with a black bumper, not a painted match color bumper like this white one. And so what the Town offers is it offers a couple different things besides the fact that it's a Town. It offers simple things like a cream interior. It offers speakers. So most Towns or most Actys in general didn't come with speakers. They may have came with just a single one, or they may have came with like an AM radio that had the speaker in it. This one happened to come with an upgraded radio. This one also has ACs. That doesn't necessarily mean anything out of the ordinary for the Towns, but it did have AC because, you know, we have Project Acty. It doesn't have AC, but this one came optioned with AC. Some of them came optioned with a clock as well, like a matching brown clock, which is really cool. But I think the biggest factor to the Honda Acty Towns versus the SDs or just the regular Honda Actys is one important thing, and that important thing is right there. See that? That's a tachometer. Mostly, if you look at Honda Actys, most of them, you may not notice this, but they'll usually just come with a speedometer, which is this guy, and it's usually centered. But this one comes with a tach, a speedometer, and basically all these other lights, kind of like what the Honda Streets would come with. So it basically has a Honda Street tach on it, is what you would see. And then obviously, I don't believe they ever came optioned with power windows, but Project Acty had power windows added on. But you have just everything that's pretty much standard, except the fact that it's cream, has a tachometer, has a nicer upgraded radio, has speakers, and this is just to match the color as well. What else can I tell you about that? Other than that, that's pretty much it. But let's talk about this particular one. This particular one's in pretty good shape. Just give you a quick walk around of the outside. It obviously has stickers on it. Those will be removed. Angela, previous owner, did put these safety reflectors on. I don't love them, but I don't hate them. I think they'll stay right where they are just because it adds a cool factor. These things don't go very fast, so overall, it's a nice way to tell people, hey, I'm in front of you, slow down. But if we keep walking around, you can kind of see the rest of it. It is sitting on 14s. I still haven't decided whether or not these 14s are staying on there. I might give you the option of getting the steel wheels with the hubcaps from the other Town, or you might have the option to get the Dunks because I think these 14s are pretty nice, and I think they would go better on a lot of different K cars in general. And because I have a ton of K cars coming through, it just makes sense to hold on to these 14s. They're also sitting on some snow tires, which isn't the end of the world, but to give you a reference, these are 165/65 14, and they're fine. They did great on the highway. Nothing to complain about. It was so clean before I started driving it, and unfortunately, you can see that road grime in the winter here is not the best. But let's start to point out some flaws. Angelo did say that behind this sticker right here is, if you look closely, there is a chip on the windshield. So if we open this up, I'll be able to show you. The chip is right there. It has been professionally filled. He just added that sticker there because he He didn't want it to be an eyesore. I personally don't love the sticker there. I like what he did with that, but it's not the end of the world. But I like to show things so that you are aware of them. He did also add a sticker over here, and I speculate it's probably because it's hiding a little bit of rust from what you can tell. If I take my finger, it feels a little pushy, if that makes sense. Like there is rust under there. I don't think it's rot. I think it's just surface rust. So the paint is bubbling there. Let's see, he added these lights, which are really cool. So these lights have been added. They're currently not functioning because he said they just need to be wired in. And it's a perfect time to show you little imperfections like there and there. I don't believe these were filled in by Angelo, but over here. But in Japan, this is very standard practice that people will take a vehicle like this, and if they get dings or dents or something and they get scratched, what they'll do is they'll come in with like a whiteout marker or a paint match marker, and they'll do certain things like this. So there's these imperfections all around the vehicle. In this door, you can see them kind of all around. It's not perfect by any means, but I don't think it's very imperfect. I think that the white was done well enough where it hides most of the imperfections, but you could see that I don't know what happened. Maybe this was pelted by rocks at some point in Japan. That's just a wet mark there. But overall, other than that, the paint's in pretty good condition. No paint clear coat peeling anywhere. I did notice that they did paint this bar. It's black, which is pretty nice. It does still have the stock reverse light, which in my opinion this can go, and you can get a nice LED bar. If we keep going, you can start to see more imperfections, but that's kind of interesting. You see that paint? The fact that you can see me in that reflection is pretty gnarly. I think it used to have some sort of reflector similar to those on here, because I see another reflector elsewhere. But if we keep going, I'm trying to see, here's some more imperfections. This little fake bumper is what I call it. I think somebody might have backed into something, so it is a little dented there. Again, wear parts, these are pretty normal for these things to wear when they get closed down or up. Usually things that are happening there. Another imperfection that's being hid by this sticker over here, it's just a dent. You can kind of see it and feel it. I'm not sure if it's a hole. It doesn't seem like it's a hole, but it does seem like it's a pretty gnarly dent that's there. That's, again, if for some reason this tailgate flew open and there was something on the ground that would have dented it, or if they were driving with it open, that's normal things that happened. What is cool about this Acty though is it does come with the chains. My other one, Project Acty, does not have these chains, so that's pretty cool, because that means you can fold this down and essentially drive with it open if need be. If we keep walking around to see any other imperfections, again, the corner there, and then over here you get the sunlight. So you see it's just like little pelts of certain things that, you know, over time have hit it. But again, the clear coat is pretty nice, considering the fact, you know, that it might have gone through whatever it went through. This you can see here, same thing. I think they had reflectors of some sort here. Battery cover's still in good shape. It looks like they added a bolt down there, but everything's there as it should be. It's nice and black. Anything else on this door? The roof seems to be in pretty good shape most of the time. Oh, there's a dent over there, so let's pop up here. So there's a dent here, and that's pretty standard for these roofs. They are K trucks. Ultimately, they were work trucks that did get used. Not necessarily abused, but they got used, and that's normally what happens. I speculate the bed might have been a little bit crusty or rusty because of things like that you see. And it looked like somebody took it and painted it with like a quick paint job of like white Rust-Oleum, because again, you can see that bar over here used to be black, and then somebody just painted it white. I do not know who that was, if that was Angelo or if that was a previous person that sold it to Angelo. So I'm not going to point fingers here. I just like to point out the details that somebody else may not point out to you. You can see in the bumper, it looks like stapled. Let's take a look at this. Looks like staples together holding that bumper. Oh yeah, so somebody hot stapled this bumper part over here to make sure that that bumper held, and then it looked like this was zip tied. So at one point or another, this was probably repaired. It doesn't affect it in any way. I think for what it is, it looks perfect. Had I never pointed that out to you, probably would have never seen it unless you came and looked at it in person. But these are things that I want you to know. I think if you take some white paint, you won't ever see that. No one ever really looks for that for what this truck is. I think it's perfect. Like, what else do you need from a K truck? But let's look underneath so you get an idea of the underside. Angelo did point out that he did do the bushings, the bushing upgrade, but under here, nothing that really worries me, just surface rust, which even Project Acty has some of. It looked like they did paint the black parts. That's standard practices in Japan. Let's take a look at that. But yeah, that's standard practices in Japan that they do those things. All the bolts that hold the bumper are there, which is nice. Obviously he added these lights, so those are there. It's a nice color matched bumper. Nothing that looks like it's leaking other than, you know, obviously driving in the snow here. But everything else looks pretty good. And it drove great. There was no shakes, no waddles, no nothing while I was driving it. So I can't have any complaints about that. Let's look under here. Again, it looks like it was touched up on the black because of that paint there, that residue. It does look like it peeled at one point and they repainted it. Nothing crazy. If we zoom into the engine, it does not look like there's anything leaking from underneath the engine. I'll show you another angle of it. But overall in great shape. Again, I drove this thing, how many hours? I think it was like 3.5 hours to 4 hours 2 days ago, and it did great. It handled it like a champ. Surface rust in normal spots, like there on the pinch welds. That's pretty standard for trucks of this age era. I speculate this might have had some paint on it. I'm sorry, some rust, so they just quickly sprayed it, made it look good, and moved on with their day. It does have the stock exhaust, which is pretty cool. It does look like they touched it up with black paint and some silver paint, it looks like. But again, nothing that worries me as far as leaks or anything. I would have seen a leak by now driving it and leaving it stored in my driveway, and I don't see anything that worries me as far as that goes. Let's look under here. You can hear the ticking of the relay. Has the original spares, what it looks like. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for the outside. Again, nothing crazy. It's a Honda Acty, so you're never gonna find them super clean unless you find one that was never used for its purposes. I apologize if it's windy right now. Let's come in the inside here and show you the inside. So if we come to the inside here, door cards, very faded. This is very normal for the brown ones. Project Acty is not quite as bad. I think Project Acty is more like a line like this. But obviously there was no tints on these windows. The sun in Japan really eats away at paint and interiors, and it just happened to eat away at this one. I think this would be a great candidate to add power windows, probably respray this and the dash and color match everything. Angelo did buy the seat cover because he said that there was a tear over here. Let's see if I can kind of show you the tear. Okay, so the tear is there. It looks like the seat was repaired with some duct tape, and then there's another seat cover, not seat cover, but seat cushion, and then the seat cover on top of it. It's kind of unfortunate. I guess you could say that's the most unfortunate part because this interior is beautiful, but your headrests are still there, which is really nice. Interior wise, the headliner is probably better shape than Project Acty. Let's see, does this guy work? Yep, well, no. These almost never really work. That one might be the only one that works. If we come into the interior itself, we look underneath the carpet. It's so brittle because it's so cold, but no rust. Believe it or not, Project Acty had rust there and there. I cleaned it off, I scuffed it up. Under here, this is the AC model, so it does have the AC condenser inside here. I haven't tested the AC, obviously, because it's probably 20 degrees when I'm driving, but it did defrost the windshield when I needed it to. Obviously, you have all your buttons. You have AC, which is really cool. You have your work light. We can click that on. Let's see if that works. If we come to the back here, yep, that's in working, functioning shape. That's good. The only thing that I have to complain about was the cigarette outlet doesn't work. I haven't had a chance to look at the fuse. This is a very simple radio. I don't think you need anything else more than that for this. If you want to get, I think it's a Blumkist or something like that, and it's a full like single DIN radio, but it's full screen. That's pretty good. AC controls work. I guess where you can find the next flaw is in here. At some point, I my speculation is someone probably put a phone mount and they accidentally, when they took it off, they broke it, or one of those cup holders. It does have a bouncy cup holder. And then what's notorious for all these Acties is the flap over here is broken, so it looks like Angelo might have added some really industrial tape to it. But it does come with a bunch of goodies, which is awesome. Obviously all the goodies for the radio, and then safety driving points from Japan. I've never seen that in an Acty. And then the Acty booklet here, and then another Honda booklet here and here. Again, I've never really seen it with all these booklets, so I think that's a plus. They'll stay with it. I think it would have been cool to put that on Project Acty, but obviously I'm telling you about this, but it's never too late, I guess. If we go to the other side, the door card, same thing. It looks like sun got to it and faded it. Otherwise, interior, I think I would say the interior is probably a 6 out of 10. There is no rust underneath. If we flip this up, it's for the radio, for the outlet. It's in pretty good condition. No rust on the shock towers, which is kind of the normal thing. Looks like Angelo had some rags here for checking oil for that purpose. It does have the jack and this. I don't know that it has the original tools. The tools might be behind there. You have this awesome packet on these Acties, and then obviously you can flip the seat down and it's good to go. Otherwise, 5-speed, 4-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive, I should say. This one does happen to have 124,958 kilometers. I'll put the mileage down below when I edit the video. Overall, it runs and drives great. I'm genuinely happy with it. I think it worked out where him and I trading was a good thing. He wanted a Z, I could move an Acty. So yeah, this one is available the way that it sits. I don't really plan on doing anything else to it, but if you're interested in it and you would like to buy it from me, I have it for $7,000 or best offer. I'll put up a Facebook ad, and then I'll probably put this one on my website as well. So if you wanted to buy it right off my website, you could. I can ship anywhere in the US. Obviously there's an additional cost to that, so if you want that, just reach out and we can make that happen. What else can I tell you about the truck? Other than that, it's got a Massachusetts clean title that's ready to go over to the new owner. The only other flaw, if you didn't catch my other video, was this hinge here. You can see it's a little loose. I just haven't taken a 10 mil to it, but I speculate if I take a 10 mil and tighten both of those, I think they'll be okay. Looks like there's just a little surface rust here and there, but the only other thing to point out, this speaker's not working. That one is, but they're old speakers, and I speculate they're probably blown up on now. But I think it would be a good candidate for a speaker, and like Project Acty, I added a sub-amp combo here, and I think a sub-amp combo right here would be great. I think an 8-inch. I think it's a Rockford. It's in great condition. That would be for that. It does have the all-weather mats. This one's a little chewed up. Go figure, it's probably because it's here. This other one's in pretty good shape. Overall, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. My phone number is 203-940-1259. If you want any other more photos and videos, just reach out. Hopefully this video is enough for anybody who is interested to really be able to, want to decide to pull the trigger on it. This was serviced, so it looks like we're right at 124,000 kilometers. And I speculate that it was probably serviced at 121,304, and then the next service will probably need to be done at 126,304. But if you would like, you can translate that yourself. I also don't know when that was done or what year that was done, because I don't know the Japanese lingo, because it says 212.4 or some sort of character. But I don't think I'll get a chance to do an oil change or anything like that. I do have everything for it. So if I get the full asking price of $7,000, I can add all those things to it. Or if it comes down to it, I can point you in the right direction to get everything: plugs, wires, cap, rotor, filter, and oil and all that. But I do have all that available that I can put in and throw in as part of the deal as well. It's $7,000. Anything else, just don't hesitate to call. Thanks. One more thing I forgot to add, it does not have LEDs anywhere, which is lacking. Let's turn on these hazards. Let's see if those might be LEDs, but I don't think so. Now, I do like that these are orange, by the way. I think it adds a good look. I know some people like the clear lenses. I'm not a fan of the clear lenses, but all the lights are working in tip-top shape, so if you wanted to come and drive it home, it's pretty much ready to go. Back, same thing. But yeah, I think it's a great candidate to add LED lights H4s make a huge difference. Excuse me. This one in particular doesn't have the OEM fog lights, but it does have those aftermarket fog lights that if you put a switch, it'll be perfect. Anyways, this is well on the video. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Give me a call, shoot me a text, reach out on Instagram, shoot me an email through my website, whatever it is that you need to do to get a hold of me. Otherwise, you'll see this on the website probably before the video's up, and on Facebook as well, and on Instagram. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate.